Hello and welcome to week 6 in the psychology of adulthood, where we're talking about family, work, and education. Probably, in my mind, um, when we're moving from young adulthood into middle adulthood, thinking about Erickson's theory of generativity, we see here that these are the products of our life, our family, our work, our education, forming our legacy over a long period of time of development, purposeful, willful, choice-based development of who we are. It's incredibly important aspects of our adult development. Lots of identity here. I made a note to myself. Lots of identity. We start off with how we define our family, and I refer to this using Piaget's term of schema. So we have an internal representation of what does family mean, and certainly it has become incredibly complex and convoluted and whatnot. We all have our own sort of conception of that with some shared qualities of it. But in the course book, I make a list here of we have ideas of marriage and cohabitation. Where do children come in? What about pets? Where are you? Location. Extended family, part there. The importance of career, leisure time, things that you do together, friends and past relationships. What possessions do you have? How do you do discipline? What about gender and family roles, sexuality, future planning? This is just to kind of get you thinking about all the aspects of what does family mean. You probably have some sort of component of your family schema that comes from every one of these and more. So thinking about that, in fact, the discussion, what I want you to share are maybe some unique qualities of these, or maybe ones that you kind of zero in on. Maybe for you it's pets, big pet family. You're a dog mom, or you're a cat dad or something, and you have then the pets are a very important part of your family, doing all that, and you can't see the existence of family without these animals in them. Those kind of things, sharing that kind of information in the discussion. Then we switch over to career development, which of course dovetails with education. So we see these things happening at the same time, and I introduced you four different models. The first one is Holland's codes. Now, Holland was a researcher who developed a test that looks at the environment in which work happens and which ones fit your personality the best. There's 6 of them. You take the test, and it will give you scores on each one of those environments based on. So it's a personality test that matches your personality and interest to the types of environment. Now, the types of environment are not like hospital, school, the woods, or anything like that. It has to do with characteristics of the environment, like creativity or traditional values or whatever like that you can find in all of those environments. But it goes a little bit deeper into maybe the social milieu of environments. So when you're looking, so you could be, let's say you want to be a mental health worker, and you find out that your creative part is off the charts, and you're shopping for a job. You might want to include, to what extent am I going to have the ability to be creative in this job, because I know I need that. And one mental health agency might say, you're going by the books, you're a machine, this is what you do, don't change anything, you're a cog in the wheel, which may be very attractive to some people with that kind of traditional, mindset of that. But the creative person, you're not going to be happy there. Even though it's the same field and it's both mental health fields, you might not feel comfortable in a place that you can't be creative. Or you might be in a job and you're going to have to find ways that you can be creative in order to thrive in that environment. Incredibly useful tool for preparing for interviews, what kinds of questions you want to ask. It's always that, do you have any questions about us sort of thing at the end of the interview. Talk about that, take out your Holland codes and is there going to be a good fit? You're interviewing them now. Very good very good way to go about that. Now, Super comes along, another researcher, and he starts looking at the changing roles within a job. And this is in the traditional, I mean, when you look at when these tests were created, you're looking at those traditional, not a whole lot of switching back and forth between jobs like today. I'll get to that in just a minute. But you have Super's changing role theory, where you come in as a newbie, and then you become more expert, and then you become, the supervisor, and then you move up in terms of, and the idea is that you define career development as you change roles within that particular field. We can also take Super's model and apply it to non-work areas, like when we might start off being this, we join the softball league, and we're just, we're the person sitting on the bench, then we're playing a lot, then we play a whole lot, and then we become a coach, and then we're like running a team, and you could see the changing role over time, and we might become a coach when we're no longer able to play. That kind of lifelong transition that happens in terms of that particular role that we have. Social learning models are the ones where we're looking at people around us and we're inspired by their work. We might look at our parents, we want to do the same thing, or maybe we want to do not the same thing because we saw how horrible it was for them or something like that. Or we may have encountered people in our lives. There's many at KV. I encounter a lot of people that are going into the health sciences, where they're going to be a occupational therapist, physical therapist, speech therapist, nurse, all of those things. And oftentimes they have a story of an individual in that field that inspired them. So that social learning model, looking at around you, and like, this is where job shadowing comes in. We job shadow different jobs, and we're like, I'd really like to do that. That'd be really cool. And then there's an emerging, it's been around for a long time, but it's still sort of emerging in terms of how we guide people in their career development. And when I was growing up, probably like many of you, I took tests when I was in high school, and it told me the careers that, career aptitude test and whatnot. By the way, when I was a senior, when I took the career aptitude test, I'm not even sure which one it was, I was destined to be a captain of a fishing vessel. That's hilarious. And I never became a captain of a fishing vessel, but it did capture my interest in marine biology, and it did capture my leadership skills, which is where I went. I went and studied marine biology, and then I switched to psychology, as working more with people and all that. It didn't miss the mark in terms of capturing my personality. It just missed the goal. And so we have these, but the idea is I would pick a career, go get the education, spend my career, get the golden watch, retire, and that's it. We know that that is not necessarily how careers go. Along comes the theory of happenstance. Now, happenstance means change, or chance, sorry, means chance. Our research indicates that individuals who are very happy, a great number, a vast majority of individuals, I might be mislabeling that. Let's just say a significant number. I'm quoting not research that I've read, but a person that I know who does research, and a friend of mine who does research in career development. Went to a presentation of his, and a significant number of people who are happy in their jobs, love their work, dream job, whatever. If you interviewed them and said, how'd you get here? And they'll tell you, I never planned. I might not have even known this job existed. It was never part of my plan to come here, to do this job. How'd you get the job? Well, there I was at Dunkin' Donuts, in between jobs, and we're having a conversation while they're making my coffee, and this guy next to me says, hey. And that's how it began, this chance encounter a door opens and the person has the capacity to capitalize on it. Now, how do you prepare for that? How do you prepare for a career that's going to depend on a chance encounter? And that there's a lot of individuals who claim that this was the magic that happened for them to get the job of their dreams. So, there's actually, even though you are now, and you're teaching in college here, every one of you is in a degree program, most of you leading toward a particular point. You're looking for a license, you're looking for a specific career. Not all of you, but certainly looking for that end point, make more money, get a more satisfying job. That's fine. That's fine. At the same time, giving a nod to the research that your dream job might be something else. How do we make sure that we're prepared to enter that door should it appear? And I provided a list. So here we have happenstance, John Crumbolt's theory. How do we prepare for the unexpected? So, to be open to chance, we have to have a curiosity of exploring learning opportunities, taking different kinds of classes, taking different kinds of courses, hobbies, those kinds of things. Persistence to deal with obstacles, come against, we just keep on going and working hard against the obstacles. Flexibility to adjust a variety of circumstances and events. Optimism. A commitment to ongoing learning and skill development, certainly along with the curiosity to explore learning opportunities. Ongoing self-assessment as to your current satisfaction where you are. Assessment and feedback from others. That circle, that network, giving you that effective networking, talking to people when you're in the line at the grocery store or when you're at conferences, or achieving a balance between your work and life, and financing the capacity to go periods of time without employment. Because you might be going along, and if you're working check to check, you will not be able to take that opportunity and go a month or so without any money. Could be. So if you were able to, put aside some money to carry over those periods of time, might not be a lot of money, just enough to get by, to be able to do that opportunity. Now, these are the suggestions for lifestyle for individuals who could well be on a very linear course to the career that they want to get. Yet, at the same time, they are cognizant that happenstance exists. Chance encounters may put you in another place, and that place might be your happy place. So, advice from the research is to prepare for these kinds of things. I myself have took this to heart years ago, and it's led me in some cool directions. I'm teaching at UMA. That was a door that opened. There was no need for me to change job or anything, but certainly I was ready to challenge myself to a different population. The same when I was teaching at Colby, and these kinds of opportunities that have come up. And I'm doing some grant writing, I'm doing some research for some grants and whatnot, and I've had to do some learning at 60 years old. I have to do some learning, and it's been magnificent just to do different things and engage in those kinds of activities. Okay, so what do I want you to do in the discussion? Like I said, discussing your current family schema. And then there's an assignment where I want you to give me an essay about your career and education development that incorporates the idea of Marcia's statuses. Look that up again from the recent chapter. Happenstance and Holland's code. So I want you to take the Holland test. I want you to consider chance events and the four statuses. In your essay, I want to firm up the expectations here, the social norms in this class. Title page, a whole page, that's your title page. The essay, you can use bold headings, or in an essay like this, bold headings for each section, or in an essay like this, use bold and use the terms identity status for James Marcia, happenstance, and the Holland codes. Make those bold so they rise out of your paper and they make themselves known, and organize your essay to use the terms from this class. Don't it's difficult to try and go into an essay without those guiding points and find what you're trying to communicate. Make it a little easier on me because I'm asking you to. So um, do those in bold. I'm not one to really come down on spelling. I don't. Make sure you spell check. And that makes it definitely easier for me. I'm sure I've made your life difficult with my mistakes in spelling. Um, and submit nice, clean papers. So there's been a little bit of drop off in the professional quality of some of the papers that have been submitted. So let's get that norm back up to where it should be. So that's what we have: a great discussion on family schemas, and then an essay incorporating James Marcia's statuses, happenstance, and Holland codes into a description of your pathway that you've experienced so far in your career and education. Great stuff. All right. See you online. Take care.